Now the countdown really begins. 14 games remaining in the season, and the Braves' magic number to clinch the Eastern Division crown is down to 4. Today, they look to Julio Teheran to take one more number off that list. The postseason goal is getting closer. It's time for Braves baseball today from Turner Field. Atlanta tries to win another home series. The San Diego Padres are in town. It's the rubber match. And Julio Teheran takes the mound for Atlanta as they try to whittle their magic number for Eastern supremacy down to just 3. And speaking of 3, that's the number of broadcasters today. Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, and Chip Carey with you. Last night's number was 1, a 1-run victory for Atlanta. Big night for Freddie Freeman, Joe, who continues to put up MVP credentials this year in the National League.
He's really having a good finish to his season, too. That's always something that a player looks forward to if he can finish strong. Freddie's had a good year from start to finish, but I think this is the best part of his season going so far right now. He's on everything. Left-handers, right-handers, breaking balls, fastballs. He's finding holes. He's finding the seats. He's finding everything with the big end of that bat. Just swinging a great bat here when the Braves really need it.
And the topic of conversation being most valuable players, there's some of the guys that I think are going to be in the conversation. Freeman, McCutchen, Brandon Phillips, Molina, Goldschmidt. I think it's going to be tough for Goldschmidt and Brandon Phillips. I think for me personally, it's going to come down to Freddie and McCutchen. I think Freddie's had the better year. And if you want to add somebody else to the mix, go ahead and put Craig Kimbrell's name on that list as well.
And I wonder if Freeman and the Braves, who are going to finish first, may edge out McCutchen and the Pirates, who are anything but a lead pipe cinch to win the Central. They're probably going to make it as a wild card. That could factor in that race as well. But there's another race the Braves are concerned about. That's the division race. Their magic number is 4 over Washington, and Julio Teheran looks to keep things rolling in Atlanta as the Braves go for a series victory over the Padres next. Braves, who celebrate Bark in the Park Day and hope to take 2 out of 3 from a San Diego club that's played the Braves real tough this year. They've won 4 of the first 5 games head-to-head. But Atlanta can win the series today and head to Washington with a happy homestand. And if Atlanta does pick up the victory, it would be their 90th win so far this season. Crisp, snappy game last night. Braves won by a 2-1 final score. Boy, was Chris Medlin good. Another fine start for the Braves right-hander, who's now 8-1 in his last 9 starts. And Craig Kimbrell polished off his 37th consecutive save, his 47th overall this season. And that, coupled with Washington's 1-run loss to the Phillies last night, means the Braves' magic number is now just 4.
Yeah, and if it's a close game today, into the 9th inning, the Braves have a close lead. They just want to make sure Chase Headley doesn't come to the plate.
Yeah.
2 9th-inning homers the last 2 nights of this series.
I think he's shown everybody he can handle the down and in fastball.
Yep.
And it's been a down and out year for him too. The Padres third baseman has not had a good season, and will be a very, very big subject and choice for San Diego to make at the end of this season. Is he a cornerstone player, or was last year just an aberration season for their third baseman? So here come the Braves behind Julio Teheran. The Braves' young right-hander looks for his 13th victory. And kids, get a few autographs before we get things started. We've got the Girl Scouts at Turner Field today. And this is the San Diego lineup they will see for Game 3 of today's series. Will Venable leads off. He's in right field today. Alexi Amarista gets the start in center. Jed Jerko is their second baseman. He's had a good series at the plate. Joe mentioned Chase Headley and his 2 homers in the set. Jesus Guzman's in left. Tommy Medica at first. Ronnie Cedeno's the shortstop. Nick Hundley back in there behind the plate. And Birch Smith will pitch and bat ninth.
And they'll face Braves right-hander Julio Teheran, 12-7 on the year, making his 28th start of the year, and he's been real good lately too. See his last 9 starts, 5-2 with a 2.45 ERA. So much like Chris Medlin, finishing the season strong and really on top of his game in terms of going into the postseason. So the Braves couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, as Paul Bird said in Braves Live, he was a little rusty in his first inning when he came back after that 10-day rest, but he was very sharp after that. And in his 4 pitching keys to success, he's had all his weapons working. Every pitch has been down. He's been throwing it for strikes in any count. And is that a tremendous asset for him? He is also a sunshine warrior. Day games, he is 2-1 in his daytime starts with a 1.71 ERA and just a 161 daytime batting average against him. So he's been good under the sunshine. There are the numbers, and still just 22 years old.
Here's your umpiring crew for Game 3 of the series. Phil Cuzzi will call balls and strikes. Chris Guccione, Mike Machlinski, and Tom Hallion will join him on the base paths. Glad to see Tom's all right after that foul ball shot. Caught him on the right collarbone last night. It's a bright, sunny afternoon in Atlanta. And here's the Atlanta defense. Upton, and Jordan Schaefer in right field. Freeman, Johnson, Simmons, and Chris Johnson from first to third. And Evan Gattis will work behind the plate. Will Venable leads things off. He's the Padres team leader in homers and RBIs. He's 2 for 9 in the series. Underway, ball 1. Another comfortable day, 77 degrees at first pitch. Gentle breeze blowing toward the left field corner. And Venable leads off with a single. Struck out in the first inning in the first 2 games of the set, but not against Teheran today.
It's weird, but he's about the biggest threat they have in their lineup right now, and he's batting leadoff.
Yeah, he's had the most consistent at bats throughout the series, and like you said, the one guy I think right now, if the game were on the line, unless it was the 9th inning with Headley, he's the one guy you don't want up there right now with runners in scoring position.
Here's Alexi Amarista. And a swing and a miss. Big gaping hole in the lineup for San Diego. Vacated by Everth Cabrera. Suspended 50 games for PED use. One of the best base stealers in the game. And a sure-handed shortstop. So with him out the rest of this season, Venable has batted first. Close play at first, and you know about Teheran's brilliant pickoff plays.
I'm sure that got Venable's attention because that was snappy.
Pop fly foul. The wind will push that into the seats, and Amarista's behind 0-2. Padres got Amarista from the Angels in a deal that sent Ernesto Frieri to the Halos. He made quite an impression with the Padres last June 28th. Hit a grand slam for his first homer as a Padre. He's hit 5 of them this season.
Yeah, don't mistake his size for lack of power. He's been in a rut though. 0 for his last 14, 2 for 19.
And a squibber it towards Simmons. Funny spin. The Braves get the forced second. Hard slide by Will Venable as he tried to take out Elliott Johnson. And Amarista trades places with Venable for out number 1.
This was not an easy ground ball. Even though it was hit slowly, it had so much spin on it that it was good that Andrelton hadn't set his right foot sooner, because if he had, he might not have been able to reach it the way that thing was spinning to his right.
Yeah, it just kept on going, and yeah, it was a good adjustment, and almost rolled up the heel of his glove on him, but made a nice play, nice recovery.
So the double play still in order if Jed Jerko would oblige. His 4-game hitting streak ended last night with an 0 for 4 game. Venable has a good lead. And he's not going. Strike 1. That's cute. Foul back toward us.
Can't say enough, Tom, for the turnaround that Julio's made in his career from last year to this. Having a rough year last year in AAA. Everybody said all he was worried about was how hard he was throwing, checking out his radar gun numbers, and has gone back to pitching it, and it began in spring training, and man, it's carried over the whole season.
If I'm not, I don't know if, I don't think I'm mistaken, but I thought I heard him say something about some changes that.
Fly ball to left. And that one's sinking, and that one is going to be caught. 2 out. Justin Upton had a little trouble with that one and made a fine catch for the second out.
That wind you were talking about blowing across toward left field kind of knocked that ball down a little bit for him. Good play.
But back to Julio, I think, I thought I heard him say something that they had tried to make some changes with him, and he wasn't comfortable with it, and he went back and went to winter ball and went back to his old way of doing things, and was successful and stuck with it. So kudos to him for figuring that out. And that's always a tough thing as a young player when you've got people making suggestions, and you as the young player want to seem receptive and not, oh, I'm doing it my way. But inevitably there comes a time when if you're not getting it done, you got to take responsibility for your own career. And in Julio's case, he appears to have done that and really gotten himself back on track.
This was a season, though, that began a little bit rocky for him, too. And I use that description for a reason. It wasn't until his start against Colorado at Coors Field that Julio really took off. 27 degrees.
Yeah, awfully cold. Bitter cold.
He gave up 1 run in 7 innings against that team in that ballpark in that weather.
Well, I guarantee you there are some people were questioning whether or not it should have been him or Delgado in that trade with Arizona. He's put that to bed.
Sharply hit up the middle by Chase Headley. And around toward third goes Amarista. And San Diego has men at the corners with 2 out. Chase Headley's had a bad thumb all year long. But in this series, he's got 3 hits and 2 home runs. So that's an encouraging sign for the Padres the final 2 weeks of the season. And this is Jesus Guzman. 8 homers, 33 RBIs for the Padre left fielder. This is his first start. That made his first start in this series. Strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. Busy baseball day, of course. We'll keep you up to date on the Phillies and Washington and the other games of divisional or wild card import. Great races in the American League too to talk about on this sunny Sunday from Atlanta. Good off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I know this. It's a great day to play. 77 degrees. A few clouds overhead block the sun once in a while.
Headley runs from first, and a scorcher hit right to Freeman, and he makes the play.
That didn't save 1. That saved 2 runs.
Absolutely.
What a play by Freddie Freeman to rob Guzman of a hit and a San Diego first inning lead. To help keep San Diego off the scoreboard in the top of our opening inning. So the Braves enter play today looking for their 90th win. And here's how Freddie Gonzalez stacks them up against Birch Smith, who's yet to take the mound and begin his warm-up tosses. Jordan Schaefer leads off in right field. Justin Upton is in left, hitting second. Then Freddie Freeman, Evan Gaddis, Chris Johnson at third base. Andrelton Simmons, Elliott Johnson, B.J. Upton in center, and Julio Teheran pitches and bats ninth.
I don't know what's going on in the Padre dugout, but Birch Smith is just now coming out. Buddy Black explaining it to Phil Cuzzy. Always a really good thing when the rookie is holding up the game.
Yeah, he's just a little fashionably late for the start.
Now he had something on his hand that he had to get off.
Interesting. Okay,
well,
so here's Birch Smith.
In any event, he's making his 5th start on the year. He's been on the Tucson Express a little bit, or shuttle, like some of these guys. 14th round draft pick out of University of Oklahoma.
Sooner.
Minor league numbers: 46 games, 15-9 record with a 3.35 ERA. So threw the ball pretty well. I'd say better than pretty well. You see his walk to strikeout ratio: 51 walks, 243 strikeouts. But Joe, I think you were saying that Bud Black was saying he hasn't quite had that kind of strikeout success here in the big leagues.
Yeah, exactly. Bud said that he'd been told that he was throwing 96 to 98, and then he got to the big leagues and gave up a home run to James Loney down in Tampa Bay, and all of a sudden his velocity went down to like 92, 93, maybe trying to be a little too precise. He's a big guy, 6'4", 195 out of Tyler, Texas. A 14th round pick back in 2011, so he got here quickly. His 4 keys to success today: don't pitch in the middle no matter how hard you throw. And while his Ks are good as a starter, he's already struck out 18 batters in 12 innings. He's also walked 10 guys in 12 innings. So the strikeouts have been outstanding. The walk numbers have not. And he's had some of his 4 starts, 2 of them, he only lasted 1 inning.
Guys, he keeps looking down at his pitching hand. Saw him wipe something off in a towel on their bench. And Freddie Gonzalez was talking with Phil Cuzzy before Jordan Schaefer got to the batter's box.
Yeah, there's something going on. I don't know what, but
so we'll watch it follow as Smith misses outside with ball 1. Schaefer hits one in the air, shallow center. Jerko is out, and Ronnie Cedeno at shortstop joins him and makes the catch over the shoulder. 1 out. Here's the rest of the San Diego defense. Guzman, Amarista, and Will Venable left to right. In the outfield, Headley and Medica, the infielders at the corners, and Nick Hundley's behind the plate. Two hits last night for Justin Upton. One of them a soft single into right field that turned into the first Braves run. Strike 1 from Birch Smith.
Short arms the ball a little bit, and a little bit of, I would call it 3/4, but it's kind of a low arm angle too.
A little bit underneath the ball a little bit.
At the knees, a called third strike. Justin didn't think so. Was it a strike? We'll see in a sec.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corner says it was. That is perfect a pitch as you can make down and away.
That's the one you try to perfect right there, and if you can hit that spot consistently, you're going to be good.
MV Free is up. Freddie Freeman.
I like that.
And he jumps on the first pitch and hammers that to deep center. Amarista is there, a step shy of the warning track. And Birch Smith had a delayed start, but a very quick 7-pitch first inning. No score. The second, Tommy Medica, Ronnie Cedeno, and Nick Hundley are coming up. Julio gave up a couple of first inning hits, but a great diving play by Freeman robbed Guzman of a 2-run scoring hit.
I like that MV free thing. Very good.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Good campaign.
And not just with the bat, good glove work. Runs saved is an important stat that execs and managers think about too. We've bragged all year long about Andrelton Simmons and the amount of runs he saved. Well, Freddie in the first saved 2.
Yeah, he's a +2 right now.
Yeah,
no question.
Left-handed first baseman doesn't make this play. Can't get the glove over there fast enough. That was quick.
So the first inning under Tehran's belt, and Tommy Medica greets him to start the second. Medica at .333, a home run that came off Cliff Lee in his first big league game. And a quick strike.
Guy could be a real valuable part of their team next year if he can catch. And you told me he's a catcher by trade, right?
Yeah, in the minor leagues.
Yeah, think about the value he could have playing various positions, and then be a backup catcher too.
I guess in one way that's the positive thing for San Diego. They're getting a lot of advanced looks at some of their AA and AAA players. But Joe, the bad news for this team, they have been racked by injuries, and financially they can't keep up with the Dodgers if their top players get hurt.
No, you wouldn't think so, Chip. And you got to figure that whoever they start the season with, they got to keep them healthy. They don't have the real wherewithal, I don't believe, to go out and match up with the Dodgers. When the Dodgers want somebody, they just go get him. And I don't know that the Padres are in a position to do that yet. So they've got to keep everybody on the field, and right now they don't have them.
Two balls, 2 strikes for Tommy Medica. And he swings and misses. Tehran has his first strikeout of the day. Julio's going for his 13th win. Where does that rank among Braves rookies? Let's find out on our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard.
Craig McMurtry still at the top of the heap. Jair Jurgens 5 years ago. Gosh, 5 years ago, really? Man. And then there's Julio tied with Damian Moss and Horacio Ramirez, all with 12.
Ball 1 to Cedeno.
7 losses for Tehran. 5 of the losses, 5 of the 7 were by scores of 2-0, 2-0, 3-2, 5-1, and 6-2. So no more than 2 runs in any of those 5 losses of support.
So this is a loaded question, asking a man who has over 300 big league wins. Tommy, is it time to get rid of the win as a stat to analyze a starting pitcher's performance?
No.
Well, that was a quick conversation. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else you would use to judge, so to speak. But you know, I mean, I think that's where you have to be able to look a little bit more inside the numbers and not just focus on the wins.
Tapped out toward short. Simmons gets Cedeno. Is out by a step.
That was weird. Was Cedeno stepping out of the box? What was he doing?
I don't know what he was.
It was almost like he was with his front foot, like he was asking for time or wanted to ask for time, and then realized he wasn't going to get it. Right here. Oh, he did ask for time. Didn't get it. So I'll swing anyway.
How does he make contact after doing that? That's pretty remarkable. So the point I'm trying to make with Tehran, you look and say, okay, well, he's 12-7. That's a good year, but not what you call a great year. But with any kind of support, he could very easily be 15-4, and you're saying he's having a great year. To the left side, Anderton, deep short. What a play!
You know what I loved about that play? Freddie Freeman didn't even stretch for it. He says, oh, I don't even have to stretch for this rocket that's being delivered over here.
We are spoiled watching that kid play short. He's having a Gold Glove caliber season, and a laser got Hundley by 2 strides, and Tehran loves that.
Delta Flyaway is back, so grab your phone and text Delta to South. That's Delta to 76884 for a chance to win round-trip airfare for 2 anywhere Delta flies in the continental United States, plus hotel accommodations and $250 of spending cash. We will announce the winner this Monday, September the 16th, during our Braves telecast. Messages and data rates may apply. Entrants may receive 1 text message confirming entry. Winner may be contacted by text message.
Tommy, you take the rest of the inning off.
I mean, that was...
Are you exhausted?
Wow, I am.
Well, it's your last game.
I know, I got to take a nap. That was tough.
Yeah, it's your last game, so you're going to have a lot of weight thrown on you today.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm here for you guys. Anything that can help you guys get a little rest down the stretch here, I'm all for it.
I just hope you don't cuss. That's what I'm hoping.
I've done that once. Not happening again.
Second inning, Evan Gattis is up. Evan at 241, 19 homers, 57 runs batted in. He's had kind of a roller coaster ride of late at the plate.
Yeah, he couldn't get any hotter at the end of that road trip, and really having a tough time here in this series.
Evans 0 for 7 in the series and 0 for his last 11. One and two.
So I guess you guys didn't win Powerball last night, huh?
Haven't checked.
Well, apparently you didn't.
Well, I'd still be.
Apparently not.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
I know you'd still be here, but judging that the number's bigger today than it was yesterday, I don't think you won.
No. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cedeno at short. And his flip to first is in time. Gattis is the first out. Chris Johnson bats. Chris at .330 for the year. 2 hits and an RBI last night. Yes, he's still very much alive in the batting chase. He's 2 points behind Michael Kadire of Colorado. Colorado, Kadire's not the big story for the Rockies today. I understand Todd Helton has announced that at the end of this year he's going to hang him up. A liner foul almost picked off Chris Guccione at first.
He's had a terrific career, and I know this year was a little bit, I don't want to say troubling for him, but he had a off the field incident, a DUI in the offseason that was very embarrassing to him, and he worked very hard to try to atone for it, and wanted to try and go out on a high note, and I think he has. That was one of the reasons he wanted to play this year. So good for him. Great career.
Great career. Played the game the right way. Always fun playing against those kinds of guys. Brought out the best in you.
Swing and a miss by Johnson. That's the second out. I think Todd Helton is going to be a fantastically interesting Hall of Fame argument when he's eligible.
I think he will set the baseline for all future Colorado Rocky players in terms of how they're judged by the writers for Hall of Fame.
Yeah, fairly or unfairly, and I think it's unfair. Choose where he was drafted. He chose to stay there for obvious reasons. But how much of an impact did Coors Field have on Todd Helton's major league offensive numbers? Sends a fly ball to right. Venable will drift back, and he'll make that play for the third and final out. We'll continue that discussion as we continue with Game 3 of the series. No score, Braves and Padres. It's here. Braves legend Phil Niekro is here. And Elizabeth Morrow is standing by with some extremely special guests here at Turner Field today.
Chip, thank you. Well, if you remember back on August 20th, police responded to reports of an active shooter in Decatur at the McNair Academy. A terrifying experience. Students were quickly evacuated. Thankfully, the gunmen were surrendered and no one was injured. Today, the students, teachers, parents, and administrators got to take the Fox Sports South fan bus down here to the game, and they were honored before the game today on the field for all of their courageous efforts to defuse the terrifying situations. And the Fox Sports South girls met with some of the kids today to teach them the tomahawk chop. And I have the pleasure of being joined by Brian Bolden, the principal of the school. We talked earlier, but I saw you down on the field. A little emotional?
Very emotional. You know, it really just kind of it just overwhelms you to see that much love and support. The Braves organization, just a class act, and they showed that today by just allowing us to have three things: fun, fellowship, and spend time with our families. So that was just really, really tremendous. But it really got emotional. It did, especially when you could hear the recap and just how fortunate we were. And that's why we deemed it Miracle on 2nd Avenue, because the world witnessed a miracle.
Well, you mentioned you make new memories to forget bad memories. What do you think about today?
This one we will carry forever. It is something that is just phenomenal. It's one thing to watch the game on television, but you can't eat the hot dog from television. I mean, it is just great. Just the atmosphere is just electric. It is just a powerful, powerful moment. I saw a lot of our students here. They're having a great time as well.
What does it mean to these kids, the ones that are here and the ones at your school, to be honored by such an incredible organization like the Braves?
It's overwhelming. It is just a powerful, powerful moment in their lives that they'll never forget, because they are my little champions, my little thoroughbred champions. And what better way to be recognized by arguably one of the most recognized franchises in the history of sports, the Atlanta Braves. It is just really, really a powerful, powerful moment that we'll cherish for the rest of our lives. I can assure you of that.
What has the whole day been like? Getting on the bus, coming here, having fun with everybody? What's it been like?
I couldn't even sleep last night thinking about it. So I know for a fact they couldn't sleep as well. It was just starting Friday, we really started getting excited about, wow, we're going to be at the Atlanta Braves game, and just a huge event. Just it's even the bus ride down was just great. We could see all the scenery and just the anticipation of coming to the game, and it was just really great.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and we are so thankful for sharing these memories with you.
Well, thank you so much again, and again, thank you to what you all do every day as well, and just to make everything that we do that much better.
Thank you so much. Chip?
Nice work, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. I've used this term before, guys. We use statements like heroic play or courageous play or superhuman effort when we talk about games played by grown men. What the staff, teachers, and administrators of the McNair Discovery Learning Academy did on August 20th is the best way to apply those terms, I think.
What a great leader. What a great principal to have for that school. I mean, to hear his words and to hear what it means to them to be here to kind of commemorate it. He was very impressive, and what they did for those kids was amazing.
Yeah, I think we sometimes throw that hero word and heroic around a little bit too much nowadays, but very apropos for that situation, and courageous as well. It's just remarkable what they were able to do and get everybody out without any incident.
So all of us welcome the parents, the kids, the staff of McNair Discovery Learning Academy right down the road here in Decatur. 870 students strong all the way up to the 5th grade there. And a school named for another great American hero, Ronald E. McNair, who perished aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. I love what Elizabeth said, making great memories so we can forget the bad ones, and hopefully the Braves are helping them do that today. Alexi Amarista skies one to center. BJ battling the sun, still seeks it out and makes the play. And Teran is rolling along. He set down 7 straight Padres, and he's due third in the third. Still no score. Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. A lot of fun here at Turner Field on Bark in the Park Day.
There's some beauties. Oh, check it out. Share and share alike.
There's not much sharing going on there.
Yeah. That's the epitome of a dog-eat-dog world right there.
Beautiful day to watch a ball game with man's best friend. Here's Elliott Johnson. Elliott again at second base for the Braves today. Elliott led off last night, got on base twice, singled, stole a base, and walked.
So far, so good for Birch Smith. 6 up, 6 down. A guy came in with a 9 ERA.
Must have heard your Ford Keys.
Maybe.
That's what he was late getting out there for. He was waiting to hear what they were.
2 balls and a strike.
Last night, the Braves faced Erlin. Robbie Erlin, they had not seen him before. He got through 3 innings without any trouble. Second time through the order, it became a little more difficult.
That's bounced off the plate foul.
He's throwing something that almost looks like he's just kind of flicking it up there at an off-speed pitch. I don't know if he's got a knuckle curve or knuckle change up or something, but it looks weird.
Whatever it was, it worked to get Elliott Johnson. 3rd strikeout, 1 away in the inning.
You know, we've talked a little bit too about the Braves' offensive struggles here of late and a little bit of the inconsistency. And I think sometimes too that can add to it is the fact that you're seeing so many guys this time of year that you just have no idea who they are. You know, you'll run into Philadelphia and you'll see some guys you're familiar with, and Washington the same thing. But a lot of times now this time of year you're seeing starting pitchers after starting pitcher that you have no idea who these guys are, and it's just tough to kind of stay in that routine and have that continuity, and you know, just it makes it a little bit tougher to just have that consistency night in and night out with the familiarity of who you're facing and what to expect.
Are you guys ones to say rosters should be limited in the amount of expansion that takes place in September, because you may have a team out of the division race loading up with guys, as you said, Tom, you've never seen before, directly impacting a competitive club? Yes, that one very high and tight.
You know, I'm not opposed to what they do. And you know, I did hear one suggestion. I did hear that I thought was a pretty good idea was maybe, you know, each night a team maybe had to designate which guys were going to be active on a given night or in a given series, or that, like that kind of thing. That, you know, that might make a little bit more sense. But no, I mean, I think if it's a great time not only for the kids but for the organizations too to find out what they have.
Upton is down on strikes after a high tight fastball. And the next pitch was cutting to the outer part of the plate. BJ missed it. 2 up, 2 down.
Where's that pitch again, Tom? Let's see if we can see his grip. No, couldn't pick it up.
No.
May just be the fact that he's kind of wrapping his wrist a little, locking his wrist, and then it kind of unfurls and makes it look that way to me.
2-0 to Julio Teheran, who's had a fine year at the plate. 11 hits in 52 at bats. That's hit toward Jerko at second. And it's 9 up, 9 down for Birch Smith. No score in Atlanta. Well, Tommy, there's room on our Delta charter. If you'd like to join us in Washington, that's a big series in so many ways for the Braves and Nationals. And the 3 games coming up are our Delta Airlines On Deck feature today. The Braves will not see Steven Strasburg. We may not see Jordan Zimmerman. And we will see a Washington club which has finally figured out its offense.
Well, they're red hot. Since August 20th, they've got a bunch of guys in their lineup just tearing it up. Best record in the National League since that date. You see all those offensive numbers. Still no announcement yet, though, for Wednesday, correct?
Correct.
In terms of who's going to pitch for them.
That's got to be awfully frustrating for the Washington club, trying to defend their Eastern title with so much promise this year. To finally play great baseball for about a 6-week period, and you run out of time. That's seemingly the case for Washington, which is losing early at home today.
Well, if they want to have any chance, I'd argue they almost need to sweep that series against the Braves to keep themselves alive.
And Zimmerman's pitching today, so you're right. Not likely for him to be pitching Wednesday. But like Tom said last night, those games back in April and May count too. And if you start kind of dismissing the fact that, well, it's early, we'll get turned around, sometimes you do run out of time.
I tied to Jed Jerko, 2 balls, no strikes. Gretchen pointed out before the game that this is the first time that Evan Gattis has caught Julio Teheran this season. See how they work together. Early in the year, it was almost exclusively Gerald Laird because you'll recall Brian McCann was still hurt.
They seem to be in sync out there. There haven't been any noticeable disagreements in terms of pitch selections.
Well, I'm not going to argue with Evan Gattis. Are you?
No. Well, I mean, I wouldn't argue, but I might suggest that we try something else if I didn't like what he was suggesting.
3 balls and a strike to Jed Jerko, who flied out to left his first time up.
8 of his first 12 hitters, first pitch strikes.
Chase Headley waits next. And he'll bat with one out as soon as somebody catches this one. It'll be B.J. Upton in center. He's got it. Jerko's flied out twice, and Tehran set down 8 consecutive men.
Chip, you were talking about Todd Helton a minute ago. Had Drew look this up for me with respect to his home and road splits. Todd Helton, a .345 hitter at Coors Field, .287 away. 225 homers at Coors Field, 142 away. And there are similar numbers for RBIs on base and slugging percentage that are all favorable to Coors Field. I don't think that's any big surprise to us, but it's not like a .287 career mark away from Coors Field is, chopped liver either.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hope people won't just say, wow, he hit 60 points higher at home without looking at how many guys hit .287.
Career .317 hitter.
How many total hits did he have? Sorry, Chip.
We'll get that.
Helton got to the World Series one time with Colorado.
2,500 career hits, a little over. He could hit. I don't care where he was playing. He could hit.
2,505 hits.
The question is, was Todd Helton one of the best players in the era in which he played, or was Todd Helton one of the best players in the history of the game? I guess that's the Hall of Fame debate that we find ourselves in. Swing and a miss. Headley is down on strikes. Tehran is dealing. Third strikeout. He's gotten 9 in a row. And Todd Helton wasn't the only man to announce he'll be finished at season's end. One of the men who announced last night is a former Brave.
Now, Mark Kotsay decided this would be it for him, too. 17 years, 1,900 games. He, too, with a high career average, 276. And Vladimir Guerrero.
Honestly, I didn't know he was still active.
I didn't
either.
I didn't know. I was just about to ask you guys, where's he playing? Because he's got an Angels logo there, but I didn't know that he was still active with them. 318 career average for him.
So we understand that Guerrero's not active or with an organization. He's just officially announced that he's through playing.
Another guy who could just flat out hit. Didn't matter who was pitching.
A roller toward third. Chris Johnson makes the perfect throw, and Tehran has sent down 10 consecutive men. The Braves have been retired 9 in a row by Burge Smith. Jordan Schaefer will try to change that when we come back.
to Uverse, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. No score, bottom of the fourth inning, and a reminder for you, the Braves Alumni Association is hosting their second annual Waffle House Braves Alumni Charity Breakfast Sunday, September 29th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at Turner Field. Come have breakfast with Braves legends, then see the Braves take on the Phillies. Get your seats today at braves.com/breakfast. It's 2 weeks from today. Another 1:35 start, the final home game of the regular season.
Well, that's different. Needed to a couple of boys to figure out a different way to drink water.
Jordan popped out his first time and takes a little low. 2-0 your count. Did you guys see the Dodgers score last night?
I didn't, but I heard you talking about it.
Ooh.
It was a big one, huh?
Dodgers trying to catch the Braves for the best record. They've stumbled the last couple of games. Madison Bumgarner beat Clayton Kershaw the other night. Last night they gave up 19 runs at home to the Dodgers. Hunter Pence had a big game. Drove in 7.
Some of that for the Giants is like year-long payback. They're not going anywhere. Dodgers have handled them all year long, rubbed their nose in a little bit. So there's a little bit of, especially at Chavez Ravine, it's like, here, take that.
So LA begins play today. 3 games behind the Braves for the best record in the league. Los Angeles without Andy Ramirez. He's got a nerve problem in his back. And Schaefer is down on strikes. Mr. Smith has struck out 5 Braves in the first 3 1/3 innings.
That's become a real issue for Jordan lately too. That's 7 strikeouts in his last 14 at bats, and it really goes back even farther than that. Over the last 30 days or so, he had 28 strikeouts in his last 76 at bats, and has hit only 184 over that stretch. So lack of contact really hurting him, especially at the top of the order.
Which is why Justin Upton's RBI chances have been so few and far between. Which is also why the Braves are cautiously optimistic about Jason Hayward. He's been taking batting practice. He's been out in the field during batting practice. And the earliest he could get back and play live action would be Monday in instructional leave. That has not been determined to be the case, however. Sprayed foul by Upton, 0-2 to him. Upton swings and misses. That's 4 strikeouts in the last 5 hitters for Birch Smith of the Padres. Good to have Tom Hart at the ballpark today. He's got news on Freddie Freeman.
All right, Chip, thanks. A lot of folks think Freddie's having an MVP caliber season. That would even apply to his teammate Chris Johnson.
It seems like he keeps getting better every single day. He goes out there every single day and plays. He never gets a day off, never takes a day off, never asks for one. So he plays good defense also, helps us out over on the infield sometimes. So he's a great player, and he's definitely our MVP. Hopefully he's the MVP of the National League. He shines when he gets in those big spots. He gets guys on base. He gets better. He gets in a big situation. He gets better. You bring in a lefty to try to face him. He gets better. He's just one of those guys that loves that moment, and he gets better when you put him in those tough situations, which makes him so special.
Talked to John Sherholtz about it before the game. He cited Freddie's consistency and reliability, especially in the face of the lineup turmoil that Freddie Gonzalez has had to deal with all season.
That's really good stuff, Tom. And I think what Chris was saying was a real compliment, too, about the respect he has for him in the tough spots, in the clutch. And Freddie Freeman does love being up there with guys on base.
Well, she's had such a consistent year, you know, and even in light of everything that's gone on around him, like I said, there's been injuries around him. There's been guys that have been super hot, super cold. He's just been the steady force all the way through.
We showed this graphic earlier today. I think because this guy's team is not in first place, he's going to struggle to get votes. I would say that Yadier Molina, because he's been injured, has going to have some trouble getting votes because he's not in there on a regular basis at the end of the year. Those first three guys are the toughest, and I would say that it's basically like Tom said at the beginning of the ballgame. I think it's those two guys, McCutchen and Freddie, who are going to draw the most attention. Not much difference, 11 points difference in their average. Freddie's got 2 more homers. Freddie's got 20 more RBIs than McCutchen. The difference would be stolen bases for Andrew. Certainly an outstanding defender in center field. And surprisingly, even though Andrew McCutchen's played 10 more games than Freddie, there's only a 10-run scored difference. McCutchen's got 90 runs scored. Freddie has 80.
See, that to me would be the big thing is, you know, if McCutchen had a whole bunch of more runs scored and was short on the RBI total, then I think it's a little bit more of an argument. I just think with Freddie, with his average and his home runs and his RBI total.
And he's going to take 90 feet as the ball on the pickoff play hit him in the back, it looked like, and I think it trickled far enough away. It did trickle far enough away for him to move up to second base. That was odd.
Yeah, and the other part of it was that Medica thought he had it. I tell you this, as a base runner, that's the worst thing about trusting your first base coach is when you don't know where the ball is, but he's yelling, go,
right,
go,
right.
And you're like, really?
Yeah, but where is it?
Gretchen looked it up. The longest that Freddie Freeman went without a hit this year is 3 starts. He went 4 games, but one of those games was a pinch hit appearance for Atlanta. And so, quite simply, when you're a team's best hitter for the best team in your league, how are you not the MVP? Two balls and a strike.
I think it gets back to, sorry, Joe. I think it gets back to, again, I think he's gotten overshadowed at points during the year. You know, Justin Upton had the great start. Then you had Evan Gattis and the rookie sensation. Then you had Jason Hayward got hot there for a while. And amongst all of that, oh, yeah, Freddie's still doing his thing. You know, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because he's just so consistent and he does it night in and night out.
And Gattis swings and misses, and Birch Smith has the strikeout ball working. That is 7 Braves strikeouts through 4 scoreless innings.
Smith in the rubber game of this series. Let's get to our trivia question. We got it last night. No help needed. Thinking caps firmly in place. Name the last Padre with a 200-hit season. That's the question.
Well, is she going obvious again like she did the other night, or
is this like one of those things that since the retirement of Tony Gwynn, who was the last to do it?
I think we know better than to ask for hints after guessing right the last couple of days as Tommy Medica goes to work and fouls one off his foot.
Headley have 200 last year? That great season he had?
Might have. Did Kilvio Veras have 200 with him a couple years ago?
Let me look in the game notes. See what's in there. Found a lot of interesting tidbits in those game notes.
No balls and a strike.
How about Adrian Gonzalez?
Kilvio. He had a couple good years there.
Swing and a miss. I'd be shocked if Tony Gwynn didn't have a 200-hit season. I'm almost 90% sure. The reason I say that is I don't think the Padres have a no-hitter. So it might be one of those reverse trick questions like, hey, it's never happened before.
Well, I'm going to bet the ranch he had a 200-hit
well,
season.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not allowed to look at the media guide either at Tony Gwynn's great career because that would constitute cheating. Right?
Right. Theoretically.
Right. So we're told he had 5 200-hit seasons. So
Steve Finley?
Ken Caminiti. Medica pops one up. Chris Johnson flips the shades down, dodges the bag, and in foul ground makes the catch. And that's 11 up, 11 down for Julio Teheran. College football fans, don't miss a minute of SEC Gridiron Live. Join James Bates, Tim Couch, Elizabeth Morrow, who's pulling double duty today, and Ovi Muheli every week as they break down everything in the SEC. That's SEC Gridiron Live Wednesday night at 10 on Fox Sports South. Strike one to Cedeno.
I want to go back to Freddie Freeman one more time.
Okay.
And I don't know if it'll be the last time at all, certainly, but I had a thought about those other guys, McCutchen, Phillips in particular, who are both having very good years. But we're kind of like writers who are on one coast or the other and don't get to see a guy play enough. We see good players in the National League East because there's so many games between the Braves and those teams. So we see McCutchen 6 times a year. We see Brendan Phillips 6 times a year, and we don't give them enough credit for being and having as great a year as they're having because we don't see them enough. Certainly like we see Freddie or other teams in the East. And I think writers sometimes do the same thing.
Cedeno is down on strikes. That's 4 for Teheran. 12 up, 12 down in the 5th, scoreless.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that writers do that. And I think you don't have to look any further, I think, maybe than Chipper the year he won MVP. Didn't he have just a monstrous couple of series against the Mets going down the stretch? And hey, that's where the bulk of it is. So, I don't think there's any question that plays a big part in it. And I think everybody would argue for their own guy for their own reasons. I think if you look at Brandon Phillips, yeah, he's had a great year. I think his numbers are a little short of Freddie and Andrews. But if you talk to some of those guys on that team, I'm sure they'll tell you, well, we wouldn't be where we are without him. So,
do you think, too, that it might be decided by, since the Braves have a big lead, there's no real crucial games coming up in the last 2 weeks, that with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and in Molina's case, St. Louis. A lot of big games coming up that if somebody really steps up and goes crazy the last 2 weeks, that might seal it, kind of like what Chipper did.
Right. I think that certainly could influence it in, say, McCutchen's favor. I think, you know, the fact that the Pirates are in it for the first time in a long time will certainly garner some support for McCutchen as well. But hey, I'll argue Freddie just keeps doing it in light of everything that's going on. You know, sometimes you could argue it's maybe easier to do it in those environments that those guys are in because they are playing stressful games and guys are bearing down. And you know, Freddie's not playing in those types of situations, but he's still bearing down every day and getting it done.
Yeah, look at those last 42 games.
And in a scoreless game today, it was a defensive play that's the most valuable play today. It saved a couple of first-inning runs. And a pop-up off bat of Nick Hundley. Let's see if this one twirls back toward Gaddis. It will not. And the count stays 1-2. If Freeman doesn't make this play in the opening inning, San Diego would have scored the first runs of the day.
Yeah, with 2 outs and runner moving on contact, there's a real good chance 2 runs are scoring.
Oh, Teheran thought he caught the inside corner. Long look in at Phil Cuzzy. This one was close.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. A little bit in.
It didn't quite come back.
Swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts for Julio Teheran. He has retired 13 straight Padres. Let's get a run for him. No score.
By the Georgia Lottery, by Toyota, and by Sherwin-Williams. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. No score in Atlanta. Don't forget Fan Appreciation Weekend, the final weekend of the regular season when the Phillies are in town. Don't miss all the surprises in store, including a mystery gate giveaway Thursday the 26th. That's for the first 15,000 fans and other great prizes all series long. Get your tickets now at Braves.com/tickets. Tell you what the fans would appreciate today, some offense for Julio Teheran, who's pitching a gem. He allowed 2 first-inning hits after Guzman was retired by Freddie Freeman. Nothing. 13 straight have been retired by Teheran.
We looked up Drew looked up numbers for Brandon Phillips, and his batting average way off from McCutchen or Freddie. He's at 262, but his home runs and RBIs right there with Freddie Freeman. 1 stolen base, which is way off what he used to do, certainly. So you're right, Tom. I think overall his numbers pale. On the other hand, Drew just handed me Goldschmidt's numbers, and I wrote him off quickly because he's not on a first-place ball club. But man, oh man, is he having a good year?
Oh, I mean, if his team's in the hunt, he's probably the MVP. But I think the fact that his team is not is probably going to hurt him.
I know owners probably wouldn't like this, as Johnson's buzzed inside again. But shouldn't there really be 2 awards? Player of the Year or Most Outstanding Player versus Most Valuable Player? I know it's happened before that players have won the MVP for last place teams. They could have finished last without that player's contribution.
You sure want a lot of change. You are on your box today. Let's get rid of the win thing.
Oh, I'm just asking.
Well, yeah, but you must be an advocate. Let's have
no.
Most Outstanding. What is with all this change you want? Are you not happy with the game?
Love the game.
Okay.
Love the game. And I know the debate
Just
is
checking.
The debate is what makes it fun. So how do you guys as former players define most valuable? That's the essence of the argument.
Well, I mean, I think 9 times out of 10 MVP comes from a team that's winning or is in the hunt. I mean, you've got to have a really, really special year to win MVP on a team that's in last place.
Andre Dawson comes to mind.
Right.
All 4 to Chris Johnson. He leads off the 5th inning with the second walk from Bert Smith. And now Nick Hundley out to talk to him.
But there are, so there are always exceptions to the rule. But I think by and large, your MVPs tend to be on the teams that are winning. And to me, the criteria there is, where are we without this guy?
I think so too. I agree with you. Paul Goldschmidt. Without Paul Goldschmidt, the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to finish lower in the standings than where they are already. But if you got a guy that's having a great year on a winning club, you take him away, would they still win?
I mean, that was the essence of the argument in the American League last year. Forget the sabermetrics versus Triple Crown stuff. Was Miguel Cabrera the most valuable player, or was Mike Trout, the most outstanding player and Cabrera the most valuable where Detroit finished? Does that make sense?
And I think that's probably accurate. Trout probably had a more. No, he didn't. The other guy won a Triple Crown.
Well, he might have had a more outstanding year from the standpoint of you maybe didn't expect it out of him.
Or all around, stolen bases, defense.
Fielding, right? But I don't. It's hard to argue that a guy who wins the Triple Crown for a first place club is not the most valuable player who's going out there day in and day out.
So that's why I think it'd be helpful if we could agree on a definition for what valuable is. As Simmons hits one in the air to left. Available for Guzman. He's got it. And there's the first out.
I don't know that you'll ever come up with a designation that takes away any of the ambiguity with all of these awards, so to speak, that come into play in baseball. I mean, again, look at the Todd Helton thing. Right. I mean, now we're having to factor in, well, what did Coors Field really mean to his? Well, gee, I don't know. What did the Green Monster mean to Carl Yastrzemski? I don't know. I mean,
Good one.
I mean, either the guy can play or he can't. And, it's, I think, too many times there's too much interpretation as to what things mean or what numbers really are.
What do they say? They're lies, darned lies, and then statistics. That's really what we're talking about. You can bend the numbers to make any argument you want.
It gets back to, for me, a lot of times what I always used to hear Bobby talk about. He'd say, if the day ever comes where I can't go out and watch a game and know who the good players are, then I need to get out of the game. And I think that's been lost a little bit, or maybe it hasn't been lost, but it's almost like we're coming up with too many numbers and too many equations to make certain parts of the game more important or whatever the case may be. I mean, most of the time you can show up, turn off the stat board, you know who the good players are.
Elliott didn't like that call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he have a case?
Sherwin-Williams, did he paint the corner? Boy, I guess he did.
That same one that Justin Upton didn't like.
That one's hooked into seats, foul by Johnson. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
First time he's really made a mistake with his changeup. Left it up.
Well, we talked about his strikeouts in the minor leagues and him not being able to find it at the big league level. He's found it today.
Yep. I was kind of hoping that he'd get the count right where they might hit and run. You know, kind of a postseason type 5th inning, scoreless, get your leadoff man on.
In the air toward right center. Long run by Amarista, and he'll get there. He makes the catch, fires back toward the infield, and Elliott Johnson is the second out. B.J. Upton's in the lineup today and has struck out in his lone plate appearance. No strikes. Bad news in Washington. The Nationals now lead the Phillies 4-2. As they wrap things up with Fightins. Jordan Zimmerman is the man on the mound for the Nationals. Bouncing ball to third. Henley throws to Jerko covering second, and Chris Johnson is forced, and that sends this game to the 6th inning. No score. Schedule. We've got a beautiful pitching matchup through 5.
Yes, we do. Both guys have been really good. Birch Smith, 5 innings, no hits, 7 strikeouts. Really been doing a nice job of keeping the ball down in the zone, using both sides of the plate and changing speeds really well. We still are going to have a little bit of a hard time figuring out what that changeup is that he's throwing, but it's been effective. And Tehran, same thing on his end. He's been aggressive, using his strike zone expanding the strike zone, using his fastball, slider. 5 strikeouts on his side. So great work by both these guys, and really the kind of game that's fun to watch, but been not quite non-existent, but not so common in baseball anymore.
And as you said, Chip, Braves still looking for their first hit off Birch Smith. Both pitchers leading off this inning. I like, you got to pick one of those. I'll take Tehran with his 11 hits this year. Chance of getting something started.
Smith took a called strike
3 in the 3rd inning. Nothing in 1. Smith, Venable, and Amarista for the Padres, who head to Pittsburgh next. Slow roller hit toward 3rd. Chris has it, and the throw in time. 1 out. All season long, Braves baseball on Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Drew looked it up for us, talking more about that MVP discussion. 2008 was the last time that the MVP was not on a playoff team. And he says that was Albert Pujols. And if memory serves, that 2008 year, his numbers were just so far and away better than everybody else's. It was a no-brainer. I don't think you can say that, as we showed you graphically this year in the National League at least. That's why the winning team discussion is such an interesting one when the eventual voting decision's made. He's got to be in the discussion as well for this Braves club, as Will Venable has the 3rd San Diego hit and his 2nd in the game.
You know, and I'm sorry, one more comment, but I think you could say arguably too that if you use the argument, well, where would this team be without this guy? I don't think that helps Freddie Freeman. You know, because I think there's a perception that you look at this Braves lineup and you see all the home runs they've hit and all the runs they've scored and this and that, and you think, well, yeah, they could have weathered the storm without Freddie in their lineup. But if you ask everybody that watches this team every single day, I don't think you'd get that answer.
That's exactly right. Right. Justin Upton, great April, very streaky since. B.J. Upton, lost season. I think that's fair to say. Hayward hurt at the start of the year. Hot and cold, mostly cold, got hot, got hurt. McCann missed 5 weeks with the shoulder. Dan Uggla, up and down. Simmons, great with the glove, progressing with the bat. Maybe the only other consistent hitter on the scale of Freddie Freeman this year is the man at 3rd base who's fighting for a batting title. That fair, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Strike 1 to Amarista. And Gaddis came out of his crouch ready to throw. Didn't have to. 1-1. The most amazing stat for this Braves ball club is the one that we've repeated a couple of times, and that is this: 28 games. That's it. That Freddie Gonzalez has had his envision starting 8 together on the lineup card. And San Diego puts Venable in play, and he'll head back to first for the 1-2 count.
You know, Julio started this game somewhat like he did down in Miami. A little rough around the edges in the 1st inning, gave up a couple of hits, pitched around it, got out of it, and since then has been lights out. Venable hit a good pitch. That wasn't I don't think anything down the middle that he just hit to right field, but he has been very sharp, Julio.
And he gets Amarista to swing at a high slider. He's got 6 strikeouts, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Like you said, Tom, both sides of the plate, too.
Yeah, I think that's something that he's gotten more and more comfortable with as the season's gone on, is being aggressive and pinpoint really on both sides of the plate, whether it's working in or away to the hitters. And you can command that fastball like we talked about last night. You got a real good chance.
Jerko couldn't pull the trigger.
Throw to first might be in order here. I can't imagine that after trying a hit and run that didn't work, that they'd just leave Venable over there, who has 19 swipes, including 1 in this series.
Good call, Joe.
Even Gaddis' throwing motion to second base, watching him between innings, is so short, and the ball comes really firing out of his hand. Short arm action, but a good arm.
Runner goes. The pitch inside. The throw to second is going to be laid right on the bag. But Venable beats the play at second and has his 20th steal.
That stolen base was on the pitch more than anything else. Didn't get a great jump. Great throw. I don't think Devin can throw the ball any better than that.
No.
But it was an off-speed pitch, and that was all just enough of the time that he needed to get in there.
And they threw over. They pitched out. And he still swiped it, so give Venable some credit, too.
Now Jerko in an RBI spot. And he delivers a single to left field. So the Padres manufacture a 6th inning run. They've broken through. A single, a steal, and then a 2-out hit from Jerko gives Birch Smith and the Padres a 1-0 lead. This is, guys, how they have to play.
No, they don't have a lot of pop in their lineup, and they're not playing in a home run happy ballpark. So you're right, and take it a step further. This is, like you said a minute ago, Chip, this is the kind of baseball you're going to see in the postseason.
Plus, I really wanted you to pronounce his name differently there.
Jerko. So here's Chase. Hit there. And he looks outside. Venable, a 20 homer, 20 steal year, the 10th time in the history of the Padres that that's happened. And that's the first run of today's game. Outplay foul. Headley's hit a couple of balls to Rockridge in the series. 9th inning home run last night. 8th inning home run in Friday's game. Gives him 12 for the year. He's only hit 1 homer with a man on base this season.
That's unbelievable.
Now 2-2.
You know, they got a couple decent pieces to their puzzle offensively. We've seen a couple of good young arms now, but I don't think there's any question that this guy in the batter's box is going to have to get back on track for this team to really start going in the right direction.
Last year, Chase Headley hit 31 homers, knocked in 115 men. 5th in the MVP race, back to that discussion, and was the Silver Slugger Award winner.
The guy that's really hurt is Carlos Quentin. He's only got 276 at bats for the year. Hit 275, 13 homers, but they really miss him. He's right in the middle of their lineup protecting Headley.
High fly ball deep right field, and Headley has hit another homer. This one does have a man on base. A 2-run home run for the Padres' third baseman. And San Diego now leads 3-0.
Well, different pitch, but I think very similar location to the other 2 home runs he's hit in this series. Looked like they were trying to backdoor a slider maybe, and it started down the middle and finished right in that wheelhouse.
Nothing lefties like better than that sweeper that comes right to the bat. What a series for Headley.
He's a free agent after next season for the Padres. 3 homers in as many games Giants. A 3-0 Padre game. Guzman 0 for 2. Washington 5, Phillies 2. Another fly ball, this one toward Upton in left, and he'll get there to retire the side. The Padres score 3 runs on 3 hits. They manufactured a run with Jerko's RBI hit. And then Chase Headley hit a long home run into the seats in right to extend the San Diego lead.
The Padres, a lot of special things happening at the ballpark today. In fact, one very special thing happened before the game. This is our SunTrust shining moment. The Hudson Family Foundation presented Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for a check for more than $110,000 for the off-season fundraising golf tournament that they put on. And in return, the kids gave Tim something back even more valuable. After he broke his ankle against the Mets, they signed balls for him. They gave him a presentation and a lot of get well cards. And this is my buddy Connor, who lives in Alpharetta. He was one of those guys. He's fighting through a lot of bad things the kids shouldn't have to deal with. He signed a ball for Tim Hudson that said, "Fight like a boss." That's Connor's motto. It's up on the wall of his room. He continues to fight. And the Hudson family and the Hudson Family Foundation that helps so many kids just like this got an honor as well when they turned around and helped him back. It's really a moving story overall and even individually when you think about everything these kids have been through. Connor, thanks for your time, buddy. Appreciate it. Now you got to get to school tomorrow, right?
No.
Okay. He earned the day off. No school for Connor tomorrow. Guys, I want to tell you more about Connor in just a moment and everything that he's been through. Chip?
Tom, thank you. And earlier today, there you see Connor with his autographed baseball.
Tell you, Tim and Kim do such wonderful things like a lot of the players do. Some current players, some former players that are still involved in great charity work.
Just a little bit about Connor, and he's just one of hundreds of kids that are helped by Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. For the past 3 years, he's been battling through neuroblastoma. He was really hit hard over the last 12 months or so. hardcore treatments, including chemotherapy, stem cell treatment, antibody treatment, and still finding a way to live his life, to go to class, to go to school, and, of course, come to Braves games. And he loves to see that first hit to start this inning.
And that thing went through, it looked like right through the legs of Smith. That hits a body part. He probably picks it up, throws out Julio Teheran. So the no-hit bid is by the boards.
And we wish Connor the best in all of his treatments and his battle.
Isn't it funny how the game works? It's the pitcher. Yes, I know.
No.
Who breaks up the no-hitter?
Well, let's hope the Braves can return the favor here and put a 3-spot back on the board and get back in this thing.
No swing, 1 ball, no strikes. That caught a corner. Jordan not sure about that.
On the line. That one honestly looked low, but I think the way Hundley's been catching the ball makes it look worse to the hitter once they look back and see where the glove is.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Tom, you said earlier, if he can make that pitch, he's going to be successful a long time. He has made that pitch today.
He has today, for sure. Now, whether he can do it consistently start after start will be the key. But today, been on the corners and down.
That one right down the middle, and Schaefer took it. So he is out number 1. Teheran's at first in a 3-0 Atlanta game. Let's check in on the Nationals with a Fox Sports 1 game update. Thank you, Will. Here's the East up to the moment. And as we told you earlier, Washington's offense is in very high gear. They've scored 5 more times today against the Phillies, and they're only in the 6th inning at home. That one squibbed up the middle. Cedeno can't get it. Teheran hesitated around second, and he'll make third without a throw. Cedeno looking at his outfielder and saying, how in the world did I not keep that on the infield?
That's 2 this inning that just got through, but it's put the Braves in business with the right guy at the plate. Just under his glove. That was the hesitation, but the long-legged Julio got going again.
MV Free is up with a fly out to center and a base on balls today. He's hit 11 of his last 12. First pitch popped up. Shallow center. Amarista is in, makes the call, and no advance. Freeman pops out, and the fate of the inning rests in the hands of Evan Gattis.
Maurice, when he was running in, was looking for some help. He was hoping somebody else was a lot closer to it than he was, but he was the guy that ultimately took charge and made the play.
Pretty good pitch by Smith, too. Went to the changeup there, first pitch. Tried to take advantage of Freddie's aggressiveness and made a good pitch.
Same idea with Gaddis.
They've given him a steady diet of that today.
Action begins in the Padres pen as Evans sprays one down the right field line. That is headed for the stands.
Oh, yes, you're right, Joe. He's gotten a steady dose of that slider or curveball, whatever that breaking ball is today. But he's been susceptible a little bit to that high fastball and chasing that with 2 strikes. So it'll be interesting to see here what that conversation was. If they go back to that slider and try and go a little bit further out, get him to chase one more time, or if they try to elevate a fastball, and they better be careful if they do that.
Off speed. And Gaddis is retired. So is Atlanta. The Braves pick up their first and second hit of the game, but trail 3-0 heading to the 7th.
By Hyundai, by Georgia Power, and by AT&T.
3-0 San Diego. The Braves are being 2-hit by Birch Smith in the series wrap-up. And hits was the subject, you'll recall, of our AT&T Uverse trivia question, and it had to do with the San Diego Padres. Can you name the last Padre to have a 200 hit or better season?
I think we've named him, but I'm not sure which guy it was.
I'm going to go with Adrian Gonzalez.
I'm going to stay with Finley.
And I'll go Tony Gwynn. And of course,
we didn't name him. We're all wrong. I forgot all about him playing there.
Mark Loretta in 2002.
He could hit.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, too.
We can't remember yesterday, much less 11 years ago. Well, we've still had a very successful homestand. I think we took 2 out of 3.
Can't win them all.
And Tommy, we'll try to do better tomorrow night up in Washington.
Yes.
This is Tommy Medica. He has struck out and popped out. One bad inning for Tehran. It came in his last frame. When I say bad results, it's not like he's pitched all that poorly. He's retired at one point 14 consecutive Padres. They manufactured their first run, and then Chase Headley hit a 2-run homer. And now Medica unloads deep down the left field line, and that ball is long gone. Tommy Medica's second big league homer. And it's 4-0 San Diego.
Guy's got some pop. Even the balls that he's just been missing, he's been hitting a mile high.
That wasn't a bad pitch.
Yeah, that was launched.
See the promos in San Diego now. He homers. They call it a Medica alert.
Like it.
His first homer off Cliff Lee. The second against Julio Tehran. And now it's a deeper hole for the Braves. 4-0 San Diego in the 7th. Series like these, games like these, are part of the inherent joy and frustration and love of baseball. Cedeno flies to right. It certainly applies in postseason play. Tommy, you know that as well as anybody. Great thing about our sport, anybody can beat anybody else on any given day, and get to postseason play, a short series. Crazy stuff happens there too.
Well, you're 100% right, and it is. It's one of the cliches of this game for sure, but it's true. I mean, you don't know. On any given day, anybody can beat anybody, and that's what makes those playoff scenarios so scary, is because they're short series, and you know, you get a team that maybe isn't as good as the other team, but they take advantage of a couple mistakes or whatever early in the series. Man, it's just tough to recover. You just don't know.
Strike one to Nick Hundley. You know, your other sport, hockey, teams talk in the playoffs. If you have a hot goaltender, you're going to go deep in the playoffs.
Yep.
Same thing in this sport. Somebody gets on a roll. Sometimes that roll doesn't stop. Ask the Cardinals, ask the Giants. The Braves are hoping to get on a roll here in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, most of the time you talk about that with pitching in a postseason scenario, but I think offensively, the one that I can remember most recently was that run Carlos Beltran had that year with Houston. I mean, he single-handedly destroyed everybody in the playoffs that year.
That was incredible. Made him a lot of money.
Yes, it did.
Scott Downs tuning up in the Braves bullpen.
I think it, like you're talking about with the goalie, on any given day, any team can win, but it starts and pretty much ends with the starting pitcher. Regardless of what your record is, if you run a guy out there that pitches a good ball game, you got a chance to win.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Slow roller and a cue shot. Nothing anybody can do about that. Hundley has the 7th San Diego hit. And that's an interesting point, Joe, because in baseball, it's the only sport where the defense has the ball. So if pitching is considered your defense, like a hockey goalie, that's where it's got to start. Keep them from scoring. You score once, you win. Atlanta hasn't been able to score yet today. They have just a couple of hits. Bert Smith still out there for the Padres. He's 0 for 2. And he's buzzed inside. 1-0. There's the bunt. Gaddis is going to fire to second. There's one. And Smith will reach on the force play. There's that short, quick, strong arm action from Evan Gaddis.
And it is launched out of his hand.
So that's the last pitch of the day thrown by Julio Teheran. He surrenders 4 runs to San Diego and is right at 100 tosses on the day. I'll tell you who the new Braves pitcher will be when we come right back. Nothing. They've hit a couple of homers, and they have chased Julio Teheran here in the top of our 7th inning. Delta Airlines, as always, a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. We're headed to the Charter and Washington, D.C. after today's play.
A couple of homers did some damage to him today. 2-run homer by Headley, certainly the big blow.
And so now it's Scott Downs' turn to pitch. He'll answer the call to the bullpen and get after Will Venable, who's 2 for 3 today. Downs pitched here on Friday. His first action back since breaking his finger against the Phillies. And now Venable dumps one right on the chalk and down the left field line. And Bert Smith really held up. Didn't know if that ball was going to be fair or foul, and it may have cost Venable an RBI. 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs.
So the good play by Evan Gaddis to get the force at second base, leave the pitcher running, may have really helped here. So I don't know what
He was
playing umpire.
Oh, yeah, he was.
A lesson will be given, I'm sure, on that at the end of this game. May have cost the Padres a run. Chris DeNorfia will bat for Amarista here in the 7th. DeNorfia's had a good series. A couple of hits, an RBI. He also has an outfield assist. He threw out Elliott Johnson at the plate. One ball, no strikes.
He's turned into a nice player for this ball club. Fits them just right. He started with Cincinnati, was traded to Oakland, and then he became, I don't know if they designated him for assignment or just released him. Padres signed him as a minor league free agent. A little bit like Nate Schierholtz. He went from the Giants to the Cubs. He's playing well. The Phillies first, and then to the Cubs, but he's playing well.
Looking at Chris's bio on the scoreboard, at first glance, facially, he reminds me a lot of Dave Magadan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he does.
The game's real good guys. Good coach, good hitter. And Downs has given up a double and now a walk to the first two batters. And the Padres have the bases loaded. And you've got to face Jed Jerko, who's already picked up an RBI hit. And Roger McDowell is out for a visit.
Time for Georgia Power Energy tip number 15. Tim Hudson, number 15. With Georgia Power's Home Energy Improvement Program, customers can get up to a $100 rebate for upgrading from a standard thermostat to a programmable thermostat. To learn more, go to georgiapower.com/home improvements. Second outing for Downs since he took that line drive in the hand that broke his ring finger. And while it wasn't on his pitching hand, I'm assuming it still bothers him, hurts him, distracts him, and went a week without pitching.
See if he can dial in and out for Jed Jerko. Runner at every base, 2 outs. Strike one. As we see the Padres so little, you don't hear much about this young man in the Rookie of the Year conversation. He's had a very productive season for them. 9th among rookies in average, 2nd in homers, 3rd in RBIs, 6th in multi-hit games, 3rd in runs, 4th in hits, 3rd in total bases. And now Downs and Gaddis want to make sure they're on the same page.
This game turned around on Julio Teheran pretty fast after setting down 14 in a row. Base hit by Venable got things started with 1 out in the 6th.
One ball, one strike. Pitch. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. And Jerko lost the helmet. So Downs issues a double and a walk. The Padres load the bases but cannot add to their lead. They do score a 4th run on the Tommy Medica solo home run. So we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. As always at Turner Field in Atlanta, we will join Timothy Miller for today's rendition of God Bless America.
Land so fair.
As we raise our voices in a solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
It's Park in the Park Day, and so far, doggy kind of day for the Braves offense. They haven't scored. They've only got 2 hits, and Bert Smith trying to beat Atlanta today.
A lot of SDs on hats there. I think that stands for Sand Dominance, the way they played against the Atlanta Braves. They'd already won 4 out of 5 coming into play today. And while Julio Teheran pitched brilliantly for 5 in the 3rd innings, retiring at 1 point 14 in a row, he ran into trouble in the 6th, and a couple of long balls have really hurt.
First pitch, Chris Johnson, and that's rocketed off Chase Headley's chest and into left field. 3rd Atlanta hit.
But you're right about Bert Smith, Chip. I think this is about the hardest hit ball off of him all day, much to the chagrin of Chase Headley.
San Diego has a new defensive outfield alignment. We'll get that to you here in a second as Simmons bats and takes the ball outside. Chris Denorfia's in right, and I believe Venables moved to left. Is that correct? Yes.
30 balls, 70 strikes, total of 100.
1 ball, 1 strike. No, it's not correct. Guzman's in left, Venables in center. Amarista's the man out of the game. Simmons off stride, pops that towards short. Cedeno is there. He's got it.
I think what Bert Smith has proved today, Tom, is something you talked about at the beginning of the series. If you can command your fastball, especially if you've got one that's in the 93, 94 range where he's been all day, then all of a sudden the hitters are chasing off speed stuff like crazy because they're constantly having to look for the fastball.
Oh yeah, and to make matters worse, like we've talked about, he's been down and on the corners, and that makes it even tougher. And I think it puts the hitter in a position where they got to cheat to get to the fastball, and then they take some bad swings at breaking balls or off speed pitches.
He's been awfully impressive. We showed you all the strikeouts he compiled in the minor leagues. He has done that trick 9 times today. He's walked only 2 men. And he and Teheran were locked in a scoreless battle after 5 innings. So the Padres scored 3 in the 6th and 1 in the top of this 7th. And despite all those strikeouts, stands to reason without a lot of walks and hits. His pitch count's going to be manageable. He's about to throw his 90th.
You're going to rack up some pitches with strikeouts, but you can keep it under control by not walking guys.
Line drive to right. Denorfia makes the leaping catch. Elliott Johnson's the second out. B.J. Upton 0 for 2. He has struck out and he's grounded out today. Slider strike. Still throwing hard. 0-2.
Yeah, and I think as much as we talk about what a good fastball hitting team the Braves are, if you look back at the other games that the Braves have been shut out this year, you're going to find a lot of hard throwers. So it's not so much that they can't hit a fastball. It's a guy who's got more than just one pitch. For example, if a guy comes in out of the bullpen and he's blazing. The Braves tend to jump all over those guys because they can't throw the ball by them. But over the course of several innings, for a starter, if they've got a secondary, or in this case breaking ball and a changeup, 2 secondary pitches are working, tough day for anybody.
Swing and a miss. Birch Smith has a 4-run lead. He's throwing 7 shutout innings at the division leading Braves in Atlanta today. League win. He's shutting out Atlanta through 7 innings, and this is what his pitching coach Darren Balsley had to say about his development as a big league pitcher.
Well, I do know he's a better pitcher now than when he showed up the first time. When he got sent back to the minor leagues, I've spoken to their instructors down there, and they really drilled him on making pitches, being a little bit more concerned with command instead of stuff. I think it's about time he can blend the two. You know, we might see the 95 again with good command at the same time, which he is capable of doing, which he learned how to do when he went back to Tucson. And in my opinion, he has a devastating changeup. We might see that come into play a little bit more too, because it's an excellent pitch. So if those things come together, he should have a good performance when he goes out there.
Good stuff all around from him, and I think his pitching coach is exactly right. That changeup's been awesome today.
Yeah, he's shown all the makings of why he had such great numbers in the minor leagues in terms of walks and strikeouts. And, you know, today, seemingly for the best time in his big league career, he's put it all together with the command of the fastball and command of 2 off-speed pitches today.
And if you pitch for the San Diego Padres with the pedigree of a guy like Trevor Hoffman, don't you, by law, have to have a devastating changeup?
Well, if you're struggling with it, there's some good resources there, that's for sure.
And Hoffman, last week or so, has accepted somewhat of a new role with the Padres. He's going to be one of their pitching evaluators in the upper minor leagues and the major leagues.
Yeah, I was talking to Mark Ryan about that a little bit yesterday. Yeah, a little bit more of a involvement, a little bit more of an evaluation involvement.
Chase Headley, and that one is played off to the side and off the chest of Andrelton Simmons. E6. So Headley's aboard for the 3rd time in the game. Rough start, rough break for Cameron Lowe.
That him played perfectly, but that ball came up. That ball came up just like the one on Headley.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough error. I mean, I guess you have to score it an error, but that's just a bad hop.
I think the fact that he was playing it to a backhand, kind of to the side, probably was part of the reason for the ruling.
Here's Jesus Guzman. A quick strike.
Padres go to Pittsburgh for 4 games beginning tomorrow, so they're going to be right in the middle of the NL Central hunt. Trying to be a spoiler.
Pirates and Cardinals are tied atop the division. Cincinnati 2.5 games back. The Reds are winning today. Cardinals are beating Seattle. And Pittsburgh and the Cubs tied in the 8th 2-2. Also see the Cubs on the upcoming road trip after our series with Washington. We're at Wrigley Field next weekend. Cubs have tried to play the role of the spoiler their last couple series. They took 2 out of 3 from the Reds. They're giving the Pirates some trouble. And Guzman takes the call, 3rd strike. Lowe has the first out of the 8th inning.
Fans, postseason tickets are on sale now. Don't miss your chance to see the Braves make their postseason run this October at Turner Field. National League Division Series tickets are available now, so visit Braves.com/postseason today to get yours.
Tommy Medica, a long homer to left. It's the 4th and final run for San Diego to this point.
A little dark here. Cloud cover has moved in.
Lights aren't on. And what started out as a pretty partly sunny day has turned as gloomy as the scoreboard. 4-0 San Diego. Mike Minor and Dan Herron tomorrow night in Washington. Freddie Garcia, Tanner Roark in game 2. Alex Wood and a pitcher yet to be named for Washington in game 3.
Well, the way they're playing, got to imagine their crowds have picked up. That's got a chance to have a nice playoff atmosphere up there.
So if Washington's score holds and this score holds, that means the earliest the Braves could clinch would be game 2 in Washington. You know the Nationals will try to do everything they can to prevent that from happening.
Well, like I said, they don't want to see it, but they're really going to have to do some damage if they're going to stay alive.
Be a test for the Braves pitching staff, that's for sure. As Nationals have scored 8 more times today.
Funny how if this score stays the same, the Braves have only lost 2 other series here at home this year to the Mets, Marlins, and a third could be the Padres.
Medica to center. Upton is back and under it. 2 outs.
Buddy Black, the manager for the Padres, now in his 7th year of managing San Diego, and he's had some teams that have been up and down, wins and losses. Suffered that horrible loss in that play-in game with Colorado a few years ago. But 7 years, been through I think 3 owners and 3 GMs. Now it's rare that a manager survives all that. But not only has he survived, I think he was given an extension through 2015.
Seems to be very well liked by the rest of the guys in uniform over there.
Yeah, and he's got a good staff, but he's also like a second pitching coach. You were talking about that about Erlin. Would he step in and help out with that left-handed pitcher yesterday? And I asked him about that today because you wanted to know, and he goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I will. I'll get my 2 cents in there." But he's also a guy who went to San Diego State, played with Tony Gwynn at San Diego State. He makes his home there, and he said, the thing when you live there, you've gone to school there, you want to win there. You know how important it is to the city, to the people.
That's bounced foul off the bat of Cedeno. .531 wins for Bud Black as the Padres manager.
Best season was 2010. Chip, he won 90. Their team won 92 games and finished 2 games back.
And their challenge is the division in which they play. How do they compete with the Dodgers, who have an open checkbook? Runner goes and fouled away. Perpetual sellout crowds for the San Francisco Giants at AT&T Park. This year, we've talked about it a couple of times. On paper, when we saw them in San Diego, they were a 500 ball club. 2.5 games out of first place, treading water, and looking to make a run with their good pitching staff. Instead, it went the other way. They lost 14 of 16 going into the break. Ineffective offense and injuries critically injured their season in 2013. And Cameron Lowe just struck out Cedeno, and that ends the Padres' 8th inning. Atlanta will go to its bench. They're down 4-0 after 7 1/2. first of the 8th inning. Last 10 games, the Braves bats have had their share of problems. The club hitting, make it 11 games, hitting .206, and they're 5-6 in that stretch.
Nice lead has made it very comfortable for everybody. You know, it just kind of glide along and win a game here and there, maybe pick up a game on the magic number. Picked up 2 games last night because Washington lost. But it's been kind of smooth, easy sailing. And these last 2 weeks, beginning today, the last game of the season is 2 weeks from today, it's got to get better than that.
So Joey Terdoslavich will come on to pinch hit. He bats in Cameron Lowe's spot, then the top of the order for Atlanta. Nick Vincent is on for the 39th time for San Diego.
Pitched here Friday night, struck out the side. Got Chris Johnson, Simmons, and Elliott Johnson.
Cameron Lowe went a perfect inning with a couple of strikeouts. Let me correct that. He had man aboard on the error. Bert Smith, though, was brilliant. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. 3 hits for Bert Smith. 95 pitches in his 7 innings. Really impressive.
Pretty efficient, especially considering 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, he did an excellent job, as Tom had said, keeping the ball down both sides of the plate.
Anthony Bavaro will pitch the 9th for Atlanta. Unless the Braves can grab the lead, then you can get Kimbrel up. Terdoslavich is down on strikes. That's the 11th man the Padres have struck out today. 1 down.
That's the pitch right there. You can command that all day, and then you have that change up down out of the zone or on the outside corner. Had guys out in front of that pitch all day long. Fastball again, and then mixed in that pretty good slider or slurve, whatever it was, and just very impressive outing. And it's, you know, it's like we used to say in this game, at least when I was playing, you can win at this level with 2 pitches. When you have 3, you're going to dominate, and I think he dominated today.
A squibber foul off Jordan Schaefer's bat. Bert Smith, the first player to reach the big leagues for the Padres in the 2011 draft. According to Stats Inc., since 1921, the first pitcher in baseball history with 18 or more strikeouts in his first 4 career starts, despite throwing fewer than 13 innings. And today, more than a strikeout per frame with 10 in 7 innings of work.
It's almost like that stat says he was striking a ton of guys out, and those that weren't striking out were hitting line drives all over the place.
Right.
He was giving up a ton of runs.
Full count.
He's got a streak of 4 straight strikeouts against the Braves from his 1 inning Friday. striking out Turdo here today.
Sharply hit out to second, and Jerko makes the play. Schaefer's retired, 2 out. We're seeing some funny hops, some funny fielding on the infield today. Some disjointed defensive efforts. One there from Jerko at second. But Vincent has his second out of the inning, and Justin Upton's the batter. He has singled today. 1 for 3. Pop fly foul, strike 1.
Justin's had a good series. His hit today gives him 5 hits against the Padres over the weekend. Hopefully he can carry that on into the road trip.
That's over the inside corner, and Vincent has his second strikeout of the inning. We go to the 9th. It's all San Diego. They lead 4-0. To the top of inning number 9. Big series for Chase Headley.
Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. A home run in each of the 3 games in this series. Friday night off Jordan Walden in the 8th inning. Down and in. Gone. Craig Kimbrell last night. Down and in. Gone. Today, breaking ball from Julio Teheran. Down and in. Gone. 3 homers, 1 in each game, and Drew looked it up for us. First guy to do that in all 3 games of a series against Atlanta here since Lance Berkman 6 years ago.
Wow. Well, he lives in the South in the offseason, does Headley. Spends his offseason in Tennessee. He's got a farm in Kentucky and plays in San Diego. Memory serves when Chipper announced his retirement, there was a lot of talk about the Braves maybe making a run at Chase Headley. But obviously that didn't happen, at least this season. So what, if anything, happens to him after this year? But he showed you in this series the potential he has to carry a club's offense. So strike to Nick Hundley, the 8th place hitter for San Diego. And Mark Kotsay will dig in. Folks watching the game at the ballpark didn't hear earlier as Hundley drives one toward left and past the outstretched arm of Justin Upton. Hundley is on his way to second. The throw is a tad late. Mark Kotsay announced after the game last night he will retire at season's end. He was a very popular Atlanta Brave for half a season here. Hope the fans, if they're able to listen, will give him a nice round of applause for a real solid career and for being one of the game's real good guys.
When you told us the other night about him playing basically a half season here for the Braves, I did a double take because it seemed like he played here longer.
Yeah, it did seem longer than that.
And he jumps on the first pitch and drives it toward Upton in center, and he makes the play. Kotsay's in the Braves record books for this magical moment in Atlanta history.
August of '08, he hit a triple. He hit a homer. Picked up a single off the glove. And then his last at bat became the most recent Atlanta Brave to hit for the cycle.
Marks kept his home in San Diego. Might recall he was a Marlin, then went to the Padres and made a great catch against the wall at Coors Field in Denver several years ago, and that collision with the fence really wrecked his back, and Marks had to deal with back problems throughout his career. In fact, that collision forced him to cease being an everyday player, as he put it. Upton handles Venable's drive. But for a part-time guy, pinch hit guy, could play first, could play all the outfield spots. He's had a terrific run, and I wish him well. I hope he enjoys retirement and hope he somehow finds a way to stay involved in the game.
He'd be a good asset to any organization.
So Kristen Orfia bats. He came on in the 7th inning. Throwing hard today.
Getting it up there pretty quick. 96 on that one.
checking the scoreboard in the American League. How about the Oakland A's, guys? They're beating Texas again today. That's a 3-1 game. Oakland's won 4 straight. Texas has lost 5 straight. Oakland wins today. Their lead will be 6.5 games with 2 weeks to play. The Rangers have to worry about that mob that's chasing them in the AL wild card.
Texas and Tampa Bay now tied for the same record where they were coming into play today for the wild card, and then Cleveland only a game and a half back. New York 3 back.
To third, and Chris Johnson retires Denorfia, and it's last call for the Braves. Who better than Freddie Freeman to try to get a late rally started? He'll lead things off in game 3 of the set.
Four to nothing, and Braves fans coming up after the game on Braves Live, presented by AT&T. We'll have Freddie Gonzalez press conference, news and sounds and interviews from the clubhouse, and highlights of all today's games around Major League Baseball. So stay tuned after the game for Braves Live.
So you do want to, I'm volunteering this for Chip, I guess, but you want to do a little play-by-play here the last half inning?
No, we're good.
You could do radio play-by-play. Here's Wine in the pitch.
Yeah, I've done radio play-by-play. TV,
have
no.
You? Okay.
No, I'm not ready yet.
It's obviously very easy.
Well. I mean, I didn't want to say anything. But.
Can this be my last game instead? Put up the next 2 weeks. Without saying, Tommy, it's been a thrill having you with us. It's so much fun, and wish you and the family all the best the off season, and hopefully we'll see you during the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be nice. Try and get down here. No, you guys have been great. Thank you guys, and Joe and Gretchen, everybody down there in the truck. Thank you for all your help for me during the year. It's been fun.
Let's see if the Braves can give them a finish. Freddie Freeman starts off the 9th inning. Houston Street is their closer. He'll try to finish off the victory for Birch Smith. He's looking for his first Major League win today. A lot of fans have been asking, because we talk about Freddie Freeman's good work swinging at the first pitch. With an 0-0 count this year, Freddie Freeman is a .456 hitter with 41 hits, 5 homers, and 24 RBIs. That's why he's aggressive early in the count. And he's aggressive on the second pitch, too. That One's headed for the right field corner. And the Braves have tagged Houston Street for a leadoff double in the inning.
Seven straight games for Freddie. Why don't you throw some top hand on this pitch? Get the barrel through there and hooked it fair.
That pretty swing again.
For 31 in saves for Street. He picked up number 30 here Friday night. Low 90s fastball, slider, and a changeup. Still hard for me not to call him James Street. His dad, James, was a heck of an athlete at the University of Texas. Quarterback, starting quarterback for the Longhorns, and a very good pitcher. And may want to try to find out if he's got any eligibility left for their football team.
No balls, 2 strikes. Gaddis pops one up, and that's playable for Hundley, and he's got it. Ed Gretchen and Drew do some research for me on Julio Teheran. Here's an eye-popping number for you, a couple of them. In Julio Teheran's starts this year, and he has made now 28 of them, the Braves have scored 2 runs or less while he's in the game 17 times. And they've scored 2 runs or less in all 7 of his losses so far. Sometimes it's not how you pitch, but when you pitch.
It seemed like Medlin was the guy earlier in the year, but Julio's had a little bit more consistently throughout the course of the year.
Chris not sure about that one. Neither was the crowd. Made attendance announced at 36,125 today. Braves and Padres drew over 100,000 for the weekend.
Like I said, good weekend's worth of crowds.
And we hope for more of the same when we get back from Chicago next Sunday. The Brewers and Phillies, the final 7-game homestand for the Braves. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Washington has 17 hits through 7 innings. You see that right? 18 hits through 7 innings against the Phillies.
Get them all out of their system.
Dan Heron saying, save me some tomorrow. Mike Miners saying, get it done today. Ground ball right side. Street will cover the first base bag. And that's the second out. Freeman's at third. And Anderson Simmons will try to help the Braves avoid a shutout.
Braves had another runner to third base back in the 6th inning. They had first and third, but Freeman and Gaddis came up Freeman popped up to shallow center, couldn't get the runner in from third, and then Gattis struck out. Something a little different for a closer, working out of the windup even with a runner at third. He breaks contact with the rubber, Tommy, and barely puts his toe on the first base side of the rubber every time he winds up. You can see that mark over there on the right side of the pitching rubber. He'll drag his right foot all the way to the edge. Even off the edge.
Yeah, off the edge. He's got
barely his toe still on there.
Braves down to their last strike. And that's your ball game. Houston Street finishes off Birch Smith's first big league game. And for the 14th time this year, the Braves are shut out. Today's final, San Diego 4, Atlanta nothing. The Padres take 2 out of 3 here at Turner Field.